Okay, that makes sense. Very, very, very excited. I think it's fun to watch. I don't want to get a PS5. Just a thought, you know? Awesome. That sounds great, actually. How do we even describe this game? That was unfortunate. All right, friends and gamers, it's that time again for a game yap, because I found another article. All right. So apparently Vulture's been posting this and updating this since the beginning of the year. Also, the website is very centered to the left, and we're just gonna deal with it. I tried to fix it, didn't work. Also, we're not starting at the top of the page because there is an ad at the top of the page that will dox me. I love when my ad blocker doesn't work. Anyways, Vulture. I didn't even know Vulture covered video games. I thought they were just there. So this is their best video games of 2024 so far. It's not just indie games, but I do know there is at least one indie game on here because it was like the very first one. So we have that to look at, but also it looks like there's a lot of AAA games on here. So my AAA knowledge isn't as extensive as some other people, but hey, we'll see. I will link this article down below. No hate to the writer or Vulture in general. As per usual, we're just gonna go through it, mainly because I want to see their indie taste. Also, if there is a game on this list that I will be playing in the future or have played already, obviously I'll point that out. So there will be some spoilers for the future of my content within this video. Mainly because if we scroll down here, they're listed in order of wait a minute. Because there's a line in here, right? This list is updated monthly with new best of the year worthy titles, but also all games are listed chronologically in order of release, starting with the most recent. Okay, that makes sense, because I'm like, Phoenix Springs just came out. I know this because it's sitting in my Steam library right now. Anyways, that makes more sense. So we're gonna start with the ones that came out in like this month, essentially, and we'll end with the ones that came out in like January. So we're going backwards, which is a weird way to do it. I'm gonna be honest. No hate. But that's a weird way to write your article. Anyways, so we're going backwards, it seems. So we are starting with Phoenix Springs. Like I said, this is sitting in my Steam library right now. I received a copy from the Women-Led Games team in collaboration with Cologram Studio. I have pointed this game out many times before. Every time I've seen it at a games showcase so far this year, I'm like, this game looks sick as hell, and I'm so excited to play it. I'm still very excited to play it. Unfortunately, it is farther down on my list than I would like it to be, but my god, I am so excited to play it. I believe, yeah, they say here it's a point-and-click game. I believe it's a point-and-click mystery game, which I usually don't go for mystery games, but come on. I mean, even just looking at this picture, this zoomed-in screen grab of some of the main art, come on, look at that art style. It's beautiful. You can't say no to this game. I couldn't say no to this game. So I'm happy to see it here. That makes me even more excited to play it. Very excited to play Phoenix Springs. It is, like I said, it's sitting in my library. We've talked about it before. I don't really have much else to say about it because this is probably like the 4th or 5th time I've talked about it, and I haven't even played it yet. I haven't even played it. I haven't even recorded the video for it yet, but I still am talking about it. So I'm very excited for Phoenix Springs. Very, very, very excited, and I think everyone should be. But that's the first game on this list, and it is an indie, just by happenstance. So we're off to a good start. Phoenix Springs is a weird noir. Okay, so it is a mystery, point and click. Yeah, they say mystery. Okay, so I was right. It just looks too good. It looks too good. So next is Silent Hill 2, which I thought was a re-release. Yeah, it is a re-release. The original came out in 2001. I have seen people play this, but I don't really have experience with the Silent Hill franchise. I'm gonna be so real. And I haven't played the first one. I also scare very easily. And usually all my recording recently has been taking place at night. Like I have 4 videos to record before I go away this weekend. And I'm not even going away for a vacation. I'm going away to dog sit. Like it's not even fun. But I have 4 videos, 4 hours straight of content I'm about to do. But that doesn't really lend itself to like, I'll try out this horror game while it's light out, because it's not been light out. But I also don't have that nostalgia for Silent Hill, so I just haven't gone towards it. I know when the remake came out, I was seeing people point out differences in the graphics, and almost like the old graphics were better because of how they were stylized. I think this was the game where I was seeing that. But the old graphics were essentially, quote unquote, don't quote me, better because they were more stylized, had more like style. I don't know what other word to use, but like the filtering used just gave it like emotion that was then removed. But I don't know if maybe they fixed that. Silent Hill franchise in general is really good, so I'm not surprised that the remake of Silent Hill 2 made it on this list. I've seen people play it. I've seen people play the original one as well, though. The original Silent Hill 2 prior to it being re-released this year. I think it's fun to watch, but I haven't played it myself, so I can't really say a ton. I feel like I was seeing stuff about that. Though. Astrobot, also, I haven't been able to play because it's only on PlayStation, and I can't justify buying a PlayStation for one game. I keep saying that, but now it's definitely up to at least 5 over the last, like, 5 years. And 2 of them came out in the last year, so... Actually, no, I think... When did the last Final Fantasy come out? When did 16 come out? Because it does not play on my PC. I know we've been over this. It ported to PC this year, but port, at least for my PC, sucks. Cannot run it. So I'm like, well, maybe I have to get a PS5. But that's like 2 games in recent that I'm like, okay, maybe I have to get a PS5. I don't want to get a PS5. I don't. So I haven't played Astrobot, but I have, again, watched a lot of other people play this game. It's adorable. This was the one where I was like, do I want a PS5? Like, this did it more for me than Final Fantasy. It's too cute. I do expect to see this winning like more, like winning awards by the end of this year, just because this was probably like that. This was that title on PlayStation 5 this year. Like, everyone was talking about it. People are still talking about it. Wouldn't be surprised to see like this get like a lot of awards at the end of the year, especially because it is technically a AAA, I would call it, because it was released by PlayStation for the PlayStation. Yeah. Because obviously if something's AAA, it's going to get more attention than like an indie or something. So I wouldn't be surprised at all. It was already nominated for multiple things at Golden Joystick, so I wouldn't be surprised. Now this is what I have not played, but I feel like I vaguely remember coming out. Flock. I believe this is indie. Yes, indie. It's a riff on Pokemon. See, I feel like I saw nothing about this really when it came out, except for like seeing the key art here and there. I haven't touched this one at all, so maybe I will have to pick it up. I do, something I think is unfortunate that they didn't do in this article, there is absolutely no links back to these games, which, you know, I would say that's fine for a AAA. It's very easy to find those, but there's no link to like a Steam page or anything to like purchase these games. And a lot of people are gonna read this list and then be like, oh, okay, like something for like Phoenix Springs. And then they're gonna forget to look it up. Because how many times do you see something like, I should check out that game, I should buy that, and then 5 minutes later you forget and you don't go look it up. And then it's not a AAA game, so not many people are talking about it compared to something like Astrobot. So you're not gonna remember it. And there's like only so many words you can string together before you get it. So it's like, I feel like this is speaking more to the article. You should really be linking these things. Like you're linking like a tweet here. How hard would it be to link the game? I feel like that's a missed opportunity, because I'm like, wait a minute. Where's a link? I want to look at the Steam page for this, because I've not really looked into this Flock game. I can't just like do like, if I highlight the title and do search Google for Flock, you know what? A million things are gonna come up. So like, because the photo is just the photo. Missed opportunity. I feel like they should have linked the game themselves. Just a thought, you know? But yeah, I will have to give Flock a look. Obviously not right now, because there's no link in the article. Anyways, next is Flintlock Siege of Dawn. I've not heard of this, but it says it's PC, but I was like, maybe it's console exclusive. No, it's not. It's not console exclusive. Flintlock, when did this come out? I find these like best of lists so intriguing, because my best of is gonna, like I've said this the last time we looked at a best of 2024 list. My best of is going to be different from your best of, is going to be different from the person sitting next to you's best of if the person sitting next to you is a gamer. And even if they're not a gamer, but like casually, like, you know, like everyone's list is going to be different. And by nature of that, there's going to be titles that I've never heard of. And I feel like this is the one where I'm being stumped more than I know what I'm talking about today. Because I've not heard of this game once. What kind of game is it? A Soulsborne. Okay. Yeah. This, and also the images are cropped, and that makes, I don't like that your images are cropped. This has become more of a, I don't like your article, but it's because I feel like I'm like grasping at straws here. Like I'm looking at your article and I'm like, do I have to search the game myself? Anyways, I'm definitely not in the target market for this. Kunitsu-Gami Path of the Goddess. I've not heard of this. Again, it's on all the consoles and PC, but I've not heard of it. I'm like, maybe it's console exclusive. Maybe this one is the console exclusive. Pacific Drive mention. That's fun. Animal Well mention. That's also fun. Awesome. So it's a hack and slash. Again, I've not seen this, but also even if I had this, the second half of the title, Path of the Goddess, sounds familiar, but it seems like the sort of thing that it might have popped up in like a games showcase, and I was like, this is very gory, and I am made uncomfortable by these little creatures, so I'm gonna look away. It's Capcom. So yeah, I feel like I might have seen something about it at a games showcase when it released, And then I heard no one talk about it, but good that it's good. I've loved to see some of the gameplay. We might actually, like, depending on how long it takes me to go through this list, I might actually go through it again and just start looking up these games myself. Still Wakes the Deep, I heard a lot about, but I don't play a ton of spooky games. I've been trying to play more, but this one I feel like just kind of went, like I was busy when it came out, and then I missed the window to play it. Sort of that one. I do think it looks I like what I've seen of it is really cool. Also, I saw the next one on the list. We're gonna have to talk about that game again. I do want to play this game eventually. I just kind of missed that window, and I've said this before, and we'll also mention this with the next game on the list because it's going to be relevant there too. I do try to prioritize games that I have received some sort of review copy of, because if a dev or publisher or the marketing team or someone is nice enough to give me a review copy of a game, I'm gonna play it before I play the other ones on my list. Now that backlog is huge. It's like a month out at this point. It's bad, but I try my best. So I don't know when I would get to it, but I do think I would like to play this at some point. I keep hearing about it. It keeps coming up. It's supposedly a great game, but also I believe it is a little spooky. You play as an electrician who has the unfortunate fate of being on board when a cosmic horror entity is unearthed from the bedrock. Yep, all right. Serving as a cautionary tale of mankind's hubris. Awesome. That sounds great, actually. That sounds really good. Also, even the setting, it being Christmas on like an oil rig, like it sounds so fun, but also terrifying. So like, there's that. But I would like to get to this eventually. Honestly, seeing that it takes place on Christmas, I'm currently in the process of planning out holiday themed stuff. I actually might pick this up for something at the very beginning of December. I'm working on planning that this weekend while I'm away. Yeah, I think I might pick this up beginning of December. I like that idea. I do like that idea. Okay, putting a pin in that. Very first weekend of December. Yeah. It's good because I'm looking for things that are like wintry or take place at the holiday season, and this definitely does. This one definitely does. So this is definitely one that I probably will pick up for that. Good to know. Good to know. Moving on, we have Lorelei and the Laser Eyes came out on Switch and PC. I brought this up during the Game Yap for Golden Joystick Awards. I am very intrigued by this game. I tried to get a review copy and was ghosted. I say this all the time. It happens. No harm done. But because of that, I haven't had a chance to play it yet, as much as I would love to. This, again, a little bit creepy, a little spooky, a little weird, but it looks so good. This picture does not do it justice. I believe it's more of a, like, not necessarily horror, but like an off-putting puzzle game. Creepy, they say creepy. An off-kilter head-scratching experience. Yeah, it looks so good. And this is another one that I would love to play sometime soon, but I have to get through my other backlog first. So yeah, I've talked about Lorelei and Laser Eyes time and time again. I talked about it when it was at a Nintendo Switch thing. I've talked about it whenever it shows up at some sort of awards thing. The fact that it keeps coming up almost makes me think that it might get nominated for other, like, Game Awards Indie Game of the Year, because we have to start thinking about that now. I don't know though. Don't know for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if it got nominated because it keeps coming up. Yeah, this one, it's on my radar as well. It has been for quite some time, but I have to get through my other backlog first. Animal Well is on the list as well. This game got a lot of hype. I didn't get into the hype, but this game has gotten a lot of hype. I think there is another content creator connected to this game. I don't really know who personally. But I think there is another creator connected to this game and like the publishing of this game. So I do think that probably pushed it out at the beginning, but it also just looks like a really good platformer. So like, it just looks like the style is there. I've heard about this game time and time again. It looks like a fun game. I just haven't gotten into it myself. And at this, like, it's another one of those games where I'm like, I haven't gotten into it myself. I missed the window and now I'm too afraid to ask, you know? But yeah, I have nothing against this game. I just haven't picked it up myself. It looks good. Definitely looks like a labor of love, and I am excited to see it get its flowers a little bit. I don't really have a ton to say about it. I haven't played it, and I've talked about it a bunch of times because it keeps popping up at these awards and things, and this isn't even awards, but it's like the best of the year list. It keeps popping up. So we've seen this before. Good for Animal Well. Ooh, I wasn't expecting this. And Dika's on this list. I demoed this game, and it was another one where I demoed it and wasn't really crazy about the demo, but it's one of those games that I keep coming back to and keep thinking about, and quite honestly would probably love to maybe put in my, I say this every year, but I'm always like, I'm gonna make a spooky month, October list of spooky games, and that's the whole month is gonna be spooky games, and it never is. It never is. But because I missed playing it when it came out, because I felt like kind of indifferent towards the demo. It was fun, but also I feel like the demo, I feel like it wasn't a proper demo to showcase. Also because I only give demos 20 minutes. It didn't grab my attention right away, but it's one that I keep thinking about and one that I would love to come back to. It just wasn't a game that I seeked out any sort of review copy for, so now it's kind of like too late, and I'm just kind of, maybe I'll get to it eventually, but it's definitely on my radar, but not as high on my radar. I've heard a lot of good things about this Indica though, and it is really cool. It is a really cool game. The story seems very interesting as well. I was very intrigued by the story and the mechanics when I demoed it earlier this year. And I think if you're into these sort of, how do we even describe this game? It's not your typical video game. Yeah, so the main protagonist is a Russian nun who is in communion with the devil. It's very interesting. And that whole, like, this is the best way I can put it. This comes through so much in the gameplay. So if you're into that sort of thing, pick this game up because it's quite cool. It was also just, but like, I'm like into this sort of thing, but not enough for it to, where it grabbed me and I was like, I need to play this as soon as it comes out. I'm kind of just waiting to pick it up at some point. Like, it's like, I'm waiting for it to go on sale on Steam sort of thing. So I'll get to, this is what I'll get to eventually, just not right now. Maybe we'll circle back and I'll try to get to it in like October, because I feel like it's spooky, but not too spooky. Like, there's an underlying vibe of spooks, but it's not like a horror game. So I feel like also if you're looking for something like that underlying vibe of spooks and not like a full horror game, maybe give this one a shot. It's also an indie game, so, you know, support indie developers. But yeah, I wasn't expecting to see Indica on here. I'm surprised. I'm happy for Indica. This game, not enough people talk about this game. Dragon's Dogma 2. Didn't this have issues on launch? I think it had issues, but it was still like fun, the gameplay mechanic wise, which I feel like if a game releases with issues, but it's still fun, I can overlook the issues. So, you know, demands effort scares me a little bit. I feel like that just means it's grindy. But if you like things that are grindy, I feel like that's not, like, that's a draw in. I like grinding out games every now and then, but not like all the time. I never played the first one. I don't really know too much about the franchise, so it was a skip for me. I do remember when it came out, and I don't really have much to say about it because I feel like it was not really in my direct line of sight. Like, I saw people talking about it, but it was always like video game news outlets, like the Kotakus and the Dexertos of the world, like that sort of thing. I saw it there, but never like in my immediate circle. So like, I don't really have a ton to say about it. I'm gonna be so real. I said I was gonna have a lot more to say about the indies than the AAAs, and I was right. Especially because I think the author's taste in games is wildly different from mine. I can tell they like more like grittier things, and I like more cozier things. Like, it doesn't mean I don't like something kind of like edgy every now and then, but it's not usually my go-to. So, and that's okay. Everyone has different taste in games. I think that's why I love looking at these sort of lists, because I want to see, like, I think it's interesting to see what somebody else's favorites are compared to like what my favorites would be, because there's overlap obviously, but it really comes down to like, what type of games how do you play, that sort of thing. So yeah, I don't have anything to say about this. Pacific Drive though, I do have something to say about. So the Pacific Drive lore, I recorded a whole like hour-long video for this game back when it came out. I had like early access to it. I got stuck, like I fell off a cliff in the car. My car tipped over like and fell on the top, and I was stuck for about 20 minutes. And then when I finally was free, I had no idea where I was. So that was the point. I gave up and was like, I'll have to come back to this at a later date. But also, this game has copyrighted music on the radio, and I thought that if I turned on the toggle for streamer mode, it would fix that. No, bestie. Streamer mode toggle only does half the work. You can't use the radio, and I used the radio because I'm driving. I'm gonna turn on the radio. And so the entire video would have been copyright claimed. I realized that as I was looking through like my press kit stuff as I was going to upload the video. So that was unfortunate, and for that reason, my Pacific Drive video never went out. It's a game I want to revisit because I feel like I need like a second chance with this game. But it was a time. I did think it was fun, but also I suck at driving. I think part of the reason might have been I was playing on keyboard and mouse, and maybe it would have been easier to control with a controller, obviously, because that's more like car adjacent, I feel like, but I don't know. I struggled with this game despite the fact that I think it was really intriguing. I wanted to really like it, but I suck at driving games, and it's like I can't get good at these driving games. And I thought that Pacific Drive is like, even though Drive isn't the title, I thought that wouldn't be the whole thing, and then it was, and I struggled like a lot. Like I would argue I struggled more with Pacific Drive than I have with like Souls-likes this year. So I'm just like, this was the hardest game I played this year, I think. I suck at driving though. Again, though, I would say this is like one of those like indie, not necessarily cult classics because it only came out within the last couple of months, but it's definitely like has that vibe within like the indie game space and also non-indie game spaces. I feel like this kind of broke that bubble a little bit this year, and I think it was real. It was really cool to see. It was. So that's Pacific Drive. I do recommend it, especially if you like creepy stuff, you like horror games. There's something going on in this game and it's really cool. I 200% recommend Pacific Drive. I think it makes sense that it's on this list, and I'm surprised I haven't seen it on more lists this year because I feel like it deserves to be on more people's lists, even though it wouldn't be on mine because maybe it would. Maybe I need a separate list for this year's games of games that are just like occupying a space in my brain. Even if they weren't like my favorites, they occupy space in my brain and will not leave. They're not even paying rent up there. We need a separate list for that because Pacific Drive would be on that list. I've mentioned it countless times in the last, like over the months since it came out. It deserves to be here. Also, yeah, Vulture as well. Speaking of the indie bubble, I keep saying this game, everyone plays this game. Indie or not, everyone plays Vulture. I've just talked about it for Indiecade like yesterday. Everyone is playing Vulture. The only reason why I'm not playing it, and I said this yesterday, is because I know I'll get addicted to it. I know I will. So I'm like, I can't. I've heard stories from everyone I know that has played this game that they have gotten addicted to it, and I'm like, I can't. Maybe I'll pick it up while I'm away this weekend, if I have downtime, which I probably will, but still, this game is insane. I just talked about it yesterday, so I'm not going to get into it again, but petty for the people. We love to see it. If you don't get that reference, I indicate I'm not going into it again. But yeah, this Vulture, pick it up. If you would like to get obsessed with something, pick it up. I feel like if I do get it though, I would probably get it on Switch for the sole purpose that if I get it on my phone, it's over if I get it on my phone. I need to have some sort of barrier, so I'm probably gonna get it on Switch. Ultros, this also came up recently. I think it might have been Golden Joystick. Now that I'm seeing this image though, I do remember when this came out. This is I was gonna say I believe it's a Metroidvania, but it literally says Metroidvania right here. It is clicked on it. It is a Metroidvania. I talked about this when we were yapping about Golden Joystick Awards. I skipped this game because it just didn't super draw me in when it released. I do remember when it released. Actually, maybe I'm thinking of something else because I swear it was on Nintendo Switch. Anyways, it's not on Nintendo Switch. But sometimes when games are super colorful like this and like psychedelic, I skip them just because I know it's gonna hurt my eyes. And so that's kind of the main reason why I skipped Ultros when it came out. I'm gonna be so real. I think maybe I might have tried to get a review copy, but it wasn't one that I super like. It was like, I'll play it if I get it, but if I don't, it's fine too. Like, I wasn't like, I need to play this just because it's not really my style. I'm not really for this like super psychedelic-y, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell style, and that's okay. That is okay. I've played my fair share of Metroidvanias that are different styles, and that's okay. This one has to be good though, because it keeps coming up. Maybe if there's a demo, I'll try to like throw it in a demo dive or something so I can eat my words. But this Ultros keeps coming up. It obviously did well. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, again, it's a AAA. I don't really have anything to say about AAAs, especially the Yakuza Like a Dragon series. I have not dipped my toes into at all because I feel like I always just associate it with console gaming. So as a PC gamer, I just haven't picked any of them up ever. I know that they just ported one to Nintendo Switch for like the first time, but it's just never really been in my wheelhouse. I do think it's fun to watch people play every now and then because it's just, some of these games are so goofy. Like there was the pirate one that came out a couple weeks ago, and then there's this one. What is happening here? Why is Yakuza delivering pizza? Like, they're so goofy in the best way possible, but then also I've seen them get really serious. So it's a franchise, I'm very intrigued by it, but I haven't really ever been intrigued enough to like pick one up. Maybe that'll change in the new year, but we'll see. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I feel like this is the first time I've seen this on an end of year list. I feel like I heard more bad things about this game when it came out than good. I'm gonna be so real. But also that could just be what I will now be dubbing the Ubisoft cursed. I feel like anything that comes out from Ubisoft just gets the riot act. And I don't blame them, because Ubisoft has done some shady things. But like, I always look at a Ubisoft game with like, what would be the word? How would you even describe that? I always look at Ubisoft games with like, it's not like one eye open, but I'm always like a little weary of their releases because it's Ubisoft. It's the same way, I feel the same way about EA, Electronic Arts, but mainly that's because I was a longtime Sims player. And yeah, I'm still bitter about The Sims 5 dying. So like I feel like I conflate and equate, I equate those two studios or publishers quite frequently. I feel the same way about them. I can't get like pin down the reason why for Ubisoft. I think I played a game as a kid that they had a piece in. I do not remember, but it's a Metroidvania, because I thought I had played this game, but I played a different Prince of Persia game. They did like an indie collaboration, and it was more of like a Metroidvania-esque roguelite, and I forget the specific name. I think it's still in early access, but I did play it earlier this year, and I was mixing up those two because I feel like I saw this mentioned elsewhere recently. I don't remember specifically where, but I really liked the indie collaboration. It was really good, and honestly, I haven't thought about it a ton, but I remember when I played it, I was like, this might be one of my favorite early access games this year. It was really good. So I can't say too much for this one because I didn't play the AAA release, but I played the indie one and it was good. Loved the art style. But again, this is another one where I feel like I heard, similarly to Dragon's Dogma, I don't know of anyone in my immediate circle who played it, but whenever like news articles or stuff would pop up, they were always very negative, which I feel like is just to say, like, if a news article pops up on Twitter, it's probably gonna be negative. That's just how Twitter is. It's why I still go on it, because it helps me find stuff like this for yapping purposes. But also, I'm starting to like, this might be the last time we do this because I'm starting to burn out on that. From now on, we might only talk about the Steam sale pages because I can't. But like whenever something gets popular on Twitter, it is usually because it's a negative post. So I'm not surprised like that these games were actually good. Actually, Twitter was wrong. Who would have thought? Oh my God, Twitter being wrong about something? Oh my God, like I'm not surprised. And even if like some random guy on Twitter thought it was bad, it doesn't mean everyone's gonna think it's bad. Like I play Genshin Impact, and there's part of that game that I will stand by and be like, this is cinema. But then there's other parts of that game where I'm like, we didn't need this. So like, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Everyone's gonna have their own opinion about gaming and games in general. Because going back to the Genshin Impact example, there's parts where I'm like, we didn't need this. Why did we do this? That other people look at and they're like, this is peak. And then the parts that I think were like cinema, other people look at and they're like, that's dumb. Why is it, you know, like it's just to each their own. I think that's how we have to end this, to each their own. Definitely some good games in this list, especially it's like ones, even though this list is not my personal taste, right? And that's okay that it's not my personal taste. I've said it before, everyone's gonna have their own best of list for the end of the year, and it's totally up to you. But it's like quite a few games that like have occupied space in my brain this entire year. Pacific Drive, you know, Indica, Balatro even, that I keep like coming back to. And I'm like, I can't pick this up until the end of the year when I have more time, because I'm just not gonna be able to. That Still Wakes the Deep, since that has come out a couple months ago, it's another one I keep thinking of, and I will be adding to my schedule probably for December. Lorelei and Laser Eyes as well. These were all titles that have occupied space in my brain for the greater part of a year. So, you know, good games. I believe that is going to be it for this video. I will link the article down below if you would like to check it out. No tea, no shade, but yeah, everyone's list is going to be different. If you like this video, make sure to give me a like down below, as well as subscribe for more, and click the little notification bell to be notified when I upload new ones. As always, I hope everyone is having a super lovely day wherever you are in the world. Go play an indie game. Doesn't have to be one on this list, but I recommend Indica. I'm gonna say go play Indica because I haven't yet, so go play it so that when I do play it, I can post whatever I want about it and not have to worry about spoilers. Or Phoenix Springs, because I will be playing that soon. I will see you all in my next video, though. Bye, guys!